We're now in the second day of the month of Adar, and the Gemara tells us, tells the Jewish people, that Misha Nechnas Adar Marbin B'Simcha, from the time that Adar enters, we are to increase in our joy. And globally, if you look at the situation in the world, it's very hard to understand how we are to and why we are to just simply increase in joy simply because of the coming of a new month. And how does this directive affect us? How should it affect us? And how can it affect us? And the answer is simply, this is just a good sound advice from the Gemara based on a certain mazel, a certain soul, or a certain source, like a spiritual source that shines powerfully. It's according to the Kabbalah, I think it's the mazel, that the sign is of fish, and fish are seen as a sign of blessing. We always bless each other. We should multiply like fish, and some people believe that tzaddikim come back and they're enclosed in the bodies of fish. And it's the month, of course, when we averted national annihilation in the story of Purim. It was Haman, the wicked, sought to destroy the entirety of the Jewish people that were under the rule of Achashverosh, who ruled literally from India to Ethiopia, but not the short way, the long way, according to the opinion of the Gemara. And Haman actually got him to sign an edict that would annihilate every single Jewish man, woman, and child. And it wasn't for the resolve of Mordechai, the leader of the generation, Ish Yehudi, he's called the Jewish man, who assembled Jewish children in public places and had them learn Torah. And God, and also Esther declared a 3-day fast around Pesach time. And when God saw that the Jewish people really hadn't forgotten and really actually wanted to take upon themselves the Torah, it says that Kiblu Mashiachilu Asais, that the Jews at the time of the giving of the time of Purim had taken upon themselves willfully that which they had started to do at the time of the giving of the Torah. So when we got the Torah, Medrash explains that Hashem actually held like a mountain over our head. He said, if you accept my Torah, good, and if not, this will become your grave. So it was a little coercion going on there, and the Jews accepted, but then it was only by Purim time that literally their life was on the line, that God saw that they were willing to sacrifice their lives to upkeep His Torah, and this merit He saved the entirety of the Jewish people. So in honor of this, and this month also is connected with Moshe Rabbeinu. It says that when Haman was trying to pick a month to kill the Jewish people, wanted to find their most unfortunate month. So he said nothing special happened in Adar. This is before, obviously, the Purim miracle. And he saw nothing special, but Moshe Rabbeinu, the leader, the first leader of the Jewish people, was killed. Died on the 7th day of Adar. So the Gemara notes that he didn't see that actually this was also his birthday, and his birthday atoned for his day of death. And because of this, the Jews are commanded that when the month of Adar comes in, we should rejoice. And this rejoicing is practical advice, and it's to prepare us not only to be in a good mindset for the entire month of Adar. Like it says that joy breaks through boundaries. Whenever you find yourself in a situation of constraint, of personal strife, of dilemma, is if you're happy, if you force yourself to take a happy mentality, you'll find that the boundaries of this perceived problem will melt away, and you'll be able to really overcome them, because now you're happy. A happy person is a productive person, someone who's moving forward, someone who's progressing, someone who's advancing. Happy person knows much less boundaries, much less limitations than someone who's just blah or even depressed, God forbid. So there's that, and also it's a big preparation for Pesach. Pesach is really the defining moment in our nation's history. And Pesach every year, like every single Jewish holiday, it's not just a remembrance of what was, but according to the Rebbe anyway, the same spiritual energies that were in the universe on the day of the first occurrence of this event, Pesach, Purim, Chanukah, Sukkot, and Shavuos, they are still in the universe. And not only that, because we have a concept of Olim B'Kedusha, of we go up in holiness, the forces are even stronger every year. And if you're able to tap into them, you're able to get the same revelations that were there not only the first time, but even now, a few thousand years later, depending on the holiday. So Pesach is properly Pesach. The whole concept of Pesach is you're able to experience, if you prepare properly, great spiritual leaps and bounds in your service of God. There's things that it says by it's in the stories of the Rebbeim by the Seder, when they'd go ask for, by opening the door for Eliyahu Navi, it's known as a time you can ask for certain things. And the Rebbeinu, the previous Rebbeinu, writes in his diary, he'd always ask for spiritual things. This is the most opportune time, and the whole concept of Pesach is, Pesach can also mean jumping over. And what are you jumping over? You're jumping over spiritual obstacles that were in your way the whole year. And Pesach, that's why Nisan is considered, the month of Pesach is the first month of the year, and Adar is the last month of the year. Because it's really the start of the year, even though Rosh Hashanah is called the head of the year. But it falls in the 7th month. The first month, the thing that defines us as a nation, is this idea of Pesach, of liberation from human bondage, and to be taken in by God Himself, and to be slaves just to God alone, by observing and upkeeping His holy Torah, His will and wisdom, as it is, as it transmigrates down into this lowest, gross physical world. So all this is, how do you prepare for such a thing? To make spiritual advances? Only through happiness. The Breslover, who lived in the late 1700s until 1810, said in edict, it's a big mitzvah to be happy always. And this is something that Chassidim try to live with today. And this is something he wanted to affect us the whole year. But even if you don't follow that path of Chassidim, which used to be called our Freilach, the happy ones, when they first came out, if you don't follow that path, you should know that by Purim, by other time, that this month you have a mitzvah to be happy. So I invite everyone to do things that make you happy, to engender thoughts of happiness, and to do things that you enjoy as hobbies, and things that, obviously learning Torah should bring you happiness, and davening, but even if it's other things, just so you can get into the proper mindset to be happy, and to be properly prepared not only for Purim, but also for Pesach. And in this way, it's just that simple prayer together, like we said, happiness breaks through boundaries, and we will to break through the ultimate boundary of this exile, and we're able to finally engender on this planet for the first time a time of world peace, and a time of an end of economic global disparity amongst all of God's human beings. Thank you so much, and God bless.